So now we start getting into two variable kind of plotting. Okay, so here we have one categorical and one numeric. For now, up until now, we were looking at just a single variable, right? The first plot we're going to start out with is a box and whisker plot. So we call it a box plot. We say x is loan grade, y is loan size, and the order. Okay, and you can see that. Yeah, so you can see some of these patterns. There are a bunch of outliers, and we know how to read it, right? So the line in the middle of this box is the median, which is 50% mark. So if you were to grade all the loan size for the grade loan grade type AAA, and then have them in ascending order, this is the center point. This is the median line. Okay. This is the 75th percent line, this is the 25th percent line, and this is the 100%, is 0%, okay, and so, right? And there are, whatever doesn't fall into this range are outliers. So I'm not sure what you can sort of interpret out of this, not much, okay. So, so it's a convenient way to just look at some relationships, see whether anything stands out, okay, but it doesn't tell you a whole lot yet in this case, right? What is this? Also plot about, okay, we can also plot a bar plot, okay, and the same two variables, right, loan size versus loan grade, but now we are looking at a bar plot, and there is this, so this is the mean, okay, so for loan grade AAA, the average loan size is 12,500. So this is much more revealing in the sense that there is at least some perspective on what is the average loan size by loan grade, right? And you see these lines. These are basically confidence intervals around that mean. Okay, and I'll get to what they mean and how to sort of calculate that. But for now, just say that. There is a variation around that mean which spans from this point to that point. Okay, so there is this confidence interval. So one way to look at it is that everything we are dealing with is a population. It's a sample data. It is trying to sort of infer on what the population looks like. Okay, and what it is telling us that with this line that the mean from this sample, the actual population mean could be anywhere within this range, okay, and and we'll go through as to why this is a bigger line versus this is a much smaller line here, okay. And let's say we want to change the loans. So by the way, when you want to plot a bar plot, you do cat plot, okay, and then you say kind equals bar, okay. Similarly, we can just do directly box plot, and you don't have to do anything. Okay, and let's say we want to change the size of this figure, right? So it looks a bit compressed. Say I want to expand and want to look at it a little bit more properly. Okay, and you see that the size doesn't change even though we specified a size. So the issue is that with the Seaborn library, right? Some of this plotting methods, right, which is like cat plot, rel plot, pair plot, lm plot, and so, all different types of plotting techniques. You have to sort of define a height and an aspect ratio. So you just can't directly change it by defining a plt dot figure by like we were doing it for other plots, right? So it's just a feature. We just have to know that, okay. And I didn't know that, but I ended up Googling it, and that's how I found out, right? So, okay, so now you can change the size, see this, okay, because you said height of 5 and aspect ratio of 3, okay. We can also, what is this doing? Cat plot, row, okay. We can also do this cat plot by a third variable, right? So now we have loan grade versus loan size. And now we are also adding a third row, so delinquency status, okay. So if you look at it, now you have loan grade, loan size, and you have delinquency status of, so you have multiple plots in there, okay. This is delinquent, okay, it tells you something. So of course you don't expect anyone with a AAA credit, which is this one, okay, this bar AAA credit, to be delinquent, okay, which is what what the data shows. Matured, you see a lot of guys who are AAA who are matured. Matured means you have paid off the loan and all the things, right? In grace, okay, and so, right? So that's a bit on plotting two variable type of problems, or two variable types of data where we have one categorical and one numerical.